I know I'll never be a perfect rider. Every stall, every bad corner, every dumb mistake makes me feel like I'm not good enough, less of a rider, and the industry doesn't help. Scroll YouTube and you get videos called 7 Signs You Are Not a Beginner Motorcycle Rider, 10 Tips to Ride Like a Pro, the easy way to corner perfectly. Sound familiar? You bet. And there's a way out. G'day. I'm David from Two Wheels In. You know, I've made plenty of mistakes riding Billy, my Himalayan 411. Of course, a lot of people would say that choosing a Himalayan 411 was the first of such mistakes, but they've clearly never known the glory that is riding a 411cc motorcycle. Those dumb mistakes I make in the saddle eat away at me. Why didn't I nail that corner? Why didn't I see that car merging? Why particularly did I stall the bike in front of 20 friends and a magpie? These mistakes make me feel like less of a rider. I'd watch these self-improvement videos religiously, but when they didn't help, I started wondering whether I should even be riding. Was I actually a fraud? But then I remembered a lesson I used to teach. That's me. I'm a pianist. Not just a classical pianist as here, but also jazz and rock. I taught at university and played all over the world. I taught thousands of students. And I remember one particular student. They were gifted, like really gifted, but they were always really hard on themselves. Always seeking that perfect performance, the one with no mistakes, the one that somehow existed in the head of the composer. And at the same time, I had another student who wasn't as naturally gifted, but who worked at the whole piece and accepted that he wouldn't always achieve perfection. Guess who ended up with the marks? Yep, the less gifted student. Now here's a music industry secret. There is no music in a Western tradition, classical, jazz, rock or whatever, with no mistakes. It's just that in performance, you don't notice because fumbles are hidden in the harmony, and in recordings, any performance is created by multiple takes. Glenn Gould, one of the most ludicrously talented pianists who ever lived, retired from live performance at the age of 31 to edit perfection into existence. So, classical music, the genre built on the mythology of the flawless performance, isn't actually flawless after all. And neither is your riding. When you start riding, you don't know enough to judge your skills. You are honestly terrible, but you don't know what good looks like yet. You get some experience, maybe, hopefully, some training, and you start to think you're awesome. Gradually, you became a better, more knowledgeable rider, and the better you got, the clearer you could see what good actually looks like, which is when the doubt started creeping in. You might have heard of imposter syndrome. It's rife in the music industry and in academia, for that matter. It exists in riding as well. The belief that you're a fraud, not as good as everyone else. I have that. I feel I'm never good enough. This is turning into a confessional. And then one day I was sitting down with a beer talking with a mate, and I realized something. Something I used to tell my students. Something I firmly, 100% believe. The pursuit of perfection in music is a lifelong practice, an aspiration, realizing that you'll never get there, but maintaining the attempt for its own sake, because the moment you stop trying, the moment you accept that you're good enough, you lose the battle. But here's the thing. The pursuit of perfection, believing you'll ride perfectly every time, is bad too. It makes you feel like a fraud every time you turn the key. Two sides to this coin. Complacency stops your skills development. Seeking perfection makes you think you're worse than you are. So, that voice in your head, who's benefiting from keeping it there? Criticizing your riding, pushing perfection myth. Well, let's compare it to the music industry. Who benefits from pushing perfection in the music industry? Institutions who say their course is the one that will make you a perfect musician. The recording industry who only release flawless recordings. The star system who need a handful of performers at the top. The instrument makers who upsell you better and better instruments. So let's place this in the context of riding. Who are the music institutions for riders? Well, anyone. Institutional YouTubers who promise, do this, it'll make you ride flawlessly. Riding actually improves like learning a musical instrument. You get better at the beginning, and then it's a series of increasingly long plateaus with smaller stages of improvement. Aspire to be great, but don't take shortcuts. Learning to ride well is a long-term process. Who is the recording industry for riders? Anyone who shows you the positives of the ride without the hardships. YouTube and Instagram are notorious for this. And I get it. If people are armchair travelling, who wants to watch someone picking up the bike for the third time that day? Social media rewards happy, positive images, but it's not giving you the whole picture. It's one of the reasons I like the Long Way series. They don't gloss over the bits that are genuinely difficult. They're not sanitising out the mistakes like you do on a recording. What about the star system? Well, who are the stars of riding? The racers, the handful at the very top. Marquez, Rossi, the names that make ordinary riders feel ordinary. But here's what we never see. We see the Sunday, we don't see the Tuesday, the thousands of hours of practice laps, the crashes in practice, and they crash constantly. It's part of the job. The bad days, the years at the back before they were at the front. Their perfection is uncontested, not because it's real, but because no one's ever seen them do anything else. And when the veil does slip, when a champion bins it in the gravel or drops it in a car park, we don't think less of them. The same fall that you punish yourself for, we celebrate when it's them. So the star system doesn't just sell you an impossible standard. It's the proof that you already know the standard is human. You just apply the forgiveness to them and the critic to yourself. And what about instrument makers? The ones that say, hey, buy this awesome new keyboard. It has such great rhythm and automatic backings. It'll make you sound professional. Well, this one's pretty obvious. The instrument makers, with their adding of features designed to make you sound better with minimal effort, are the motorcycle manufacturers who keep adding things to make you a better motorcyclist with minimal effort. I learned to play piano the hard way, and I wasn't always very good. When I started, I was lazy and I could play easily by ear, to the point where my teachers refused to play anything for me because I could pick it up so easily. In riding, I learned the hard way too, on bikes with minimal rider aids. Billy is actually the most technological bike I've ever personally owned, and her tech is ABS, EFI, a semi-digital instrument cluster, and a god-awful compass that only works sometimes. What this means is I can ride anything without having to rely on the technology. Get the techie tech keyboard if you like, but learn to play the piano too. Get the big techie tech bike if you want, but learn to ride without the technological aids too. Hey, if you know what I'm talking about, subscribe and tell us your stories in the comments. I reckon it helps to know we're all in this together. At the start, I promised you a way out of this perfection fixation. Well, there are actually 3 solutions. Firstly, and this is real, imposter syndrome is the honest response to a rigged standard. Look, if perfection doesn't exist, everyone's an imposter. The benchmark is the fail, not you, not me. Secondly, be kind to yourself. We cheer when the champion falls because it makes them human. We punish ourselves when we do it because we hold ourselves to an impossible standard. The same fall, 2 verdicts. You will sometimes fail as a rider. If you learn from that fail, that's not a net negative. Lastly, stop treating perfection as a target. Consider what a perfect corner or a perfect long ride is, but remember it's an aspiration, a direction, something to aim for. Keep trying to be better. You know your strengths and weaknesses far better than anyone else. You know where you have to improve. The bar is yours and it never stops moving. I'll never be a perfect pianist or a perfect rider. I've been doing both long enough to know perfection doesn't exist with fallible, amazing human beings. But it gives me something to aim for. And that's enough to keep going.